Okay, we're in section 47. Typical contents, you're supposed to read that. Examples, you're supposed to understand those examples before you attempt to do the exercises. My name is Ron Bannon. This is a draft version of my adaptation of Webster Wells' Advanced Algebra course, circa 1904. The PDF document at this point in time is just being made available to the present mathematics project participants. In the future, it will be published. And certainly in the meantime, if you need to reach out to me, my name is Bannon. My email address is also Bannon, B as in boy, @ NNON.US. Again, it's important you look through the contents, read it, try to understand it. I know it's difficult. Probably doing the examples is going to be more helpful than reading for many students, but the bottom line is you need to read. All right, so what are we going to do over here? We're going to move forward, and I'm not going to read this to you. You're supposed to read this stuff. Now, some people might complain, oh, I don't have the document. Well, in the beginning of this whole rigmarole, I told you where to get the document, at least the scanned copy of the original. My document certainly will be published, but the bottom line, you still have access to it if you want to read through that. All right? I'm going to do the examples. As I'm doing the examples, I'm certainly going to do things differently than Wells. And the reason for that, modern notation demands this from us. So if you see -1 under a root symbol, square root symbol, you should immediately write down I. All right? If you see I squared, you should immediately write down -1. So you can put in the direction you go in. All right? So I'm going to look at this, and first thing I'm seeing is that they want me to simplify the root of -27. All right? I'll read the rest of it later. But right now, I see -1, and I see 27. So my goal is to get that root of -1. I'll write down I, and then I see root 27. The root 27 contains a perfect square factor, and that perfect square factor is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. So I get 3I root 3. All right? I want to write in the form that they want. They want in the a plus bi form. Let me put that down for you. So this is going to be equal to 0 plus 3 root 3I. This, you understand, the a is 0, and the b is 3 root 3. All right? 0, 3 root 3, and this is written down the way they want it written down. All right, let's do the next one. The next one says add. Well, I got the root of -4. That's a problem for me. And I have the root of -36. And that's a problem for me. So again, I want to repeat this. You got to get that I done first. So I, root 4, plus I, root 36. The square root of 4 is 2, so that's 2I. And the square root of 36 is 6. This is 6I. How many i's do you have? 8 i's. All right, this is written as 0 plus 8I. A is 0, and the b is 8. All right? Let's do the next one. Next one says multiply. And again, just trying to get across to you, if you're going to multiply this guy over here, that would be minus the root of -2 times the root of -3. You must do the i's first. It's going to be I root 2 times I root 3. Well, it's pretty easy to do. I'm going to commute things around and associate the I with the I. That would be I squared and root 6. And remember, if you see I squared, you're going to immediately write down -1. So it's minus root 6. What's the answer over here? Minus root 6 plus no i's. What's the a? The a is minus root 6. What's the b? The b is 0. Let's keep going. Relatively simple stuff. This over here, same thing. They want to multiply together. I'll write it down for you. It's going to be root of -9, the square root of -16, and the square root of -25. One thing at a time. First factor is going to be 3i. The second factor is going to be 4i. And the third factor is 5i. Yeah, I'm going a little faster now. I'm going to move things around. It's commutation. And I would see I squared I. Okay, I see 3 factorial. That's why I'm saying that. And then 3 times 4 times 5 is going to be, let's see, 12 times 5 is 60, right? What's I squared? I squared is actually -1. So what do I get? I get minus 60i. Let's write in that a plus b form. So you can get 0 minus 60i. This is the understanding that a is 0. And again, it says a plus bi, so the b must be minus 60. All right, so the next one. Next one says multiply. I'll write it down for you. You know what? I occluded this, so I have to erase that. Sorry about that. I do that sometimes. Where are we now? So it's going to be square root of minus 5. And they want to multiply it by square root of minus 2 minus 3 square root of minus 5. Well, again, I can't say it enough times you want to get that I out. It's going to be 2I root 2 plus I root 5. This is going to be I root 2. And this is going to be minus 3I root 5. Well, I'm going to factor an I out from both of these factors over here. And I'll do it one thing at a time. So I, 2 root 2 plus root 5. And then you're going to get an I from that. I'll write that down for you. Root 2 minus 3 root 5. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to associate the i's together, and you get I squared. I'll write this on the side for you. And then I get this multiplication, which is 2 root 2 plus root 5 times root 2 minus 3 root 5. Well, I squared is minus 1. That's done. And now I'm going to do this multiplication over here. And what do you get? 2 root 2 times root 2 is going to be 2 times 2, which is 4. Then you're going to get minus 6 root 10 plus root 10 minus 3 times 5, which is 15. I'm going to keep going. One step at a time, right? So you get 4 minus 15 is minus 11. Minus 6 root 10 plus 1 root 10 is going to be minus 5 root 10. What am I going to do? I'm going to multiply across by minus 1. What do you get? 11 plus 5 root 10. All right? Someone says there's no I in the problem. Well, let's put it down. There are no i's. So what's the a? This would be the a. And what's the b? 0. This is the a, and that's the b. All right, let's keep going. Next one says divide. And again, it's almost like a broken record. You got to really be careful about this. And what are you careful about? You got to get that I business done first. What's it going to be? I root 40. And this would be I root 5. Well, I divides by I, it's 1. And then root 40 over root 5 is root 40 fifths, which is going to be root 8. And root 8 is 2 root 2. Again, if you're going to put in the a plus bi form, it's 2 root 2 plus no i's. Everything's done. Let's do number 7. It says divide root 15 by the square root of minus 3. Again, we got to do the i's first. That would be I root 3. The next thing I would do, I would see this. Whoops, I didn't mean to put that down so quickly. I would see 1 over I. We'll worry about that later. 15 over 3. What do you get over here? Well, you get root 5 over I. Now, by the way, I want to write this in the form a plus bi. So I can't be a divisor, so I'm going to multiply by its conjugate. What's its conjugate? Minus I. Well, minus I over minus I is 1. That hasn't changed the problem. So what do you get over here? Minus I root 5. And on the bottom, you can get minus I squared. What's that going to be? Well, minus 1 is plus 1. So this actually equals minus I root 5. If you want to write in the a plus bi form, it's going to be 0 minus root 5i, with the understanding the a is 0, and the b is actually minus root 5. Let's look at the answer key, see how we're doing. And they do have the answer down here, same answer we got, and they're saying the a is 0, and the b is minus root 5. All right, so number 8, really kind of the same story. I'm going to write it down for you. And the story is, I got to get rid of that, the minus sign into the radical. I'll put this over here, 2 root 3 minus 3i root 2. And on bottom, you can get 2 root 3 let's see, plus 3i square root of 2. I need to get rid of the I in the bottom. And the way I'm going to do that, multiply by the conjugate. So 2 root 3 minus 3i root 2, 2 root 3 minus 3i root 2. Let's do it. The bottom should be relatively easy. And why is that? It's a conjugate. So it's like a plus b, a minus b would be a squared minus b squared. I'm going to erase that. I'm just reminding you I've done this before. I'm going to do my multiplications. So what do you get over there? Well, you would get 4 times 3, which is 12. And then you're going to get, let's see, minus, let's see, 3 times 3 is 9. And root 2 times 2 is 2. 9 times 2 is 18. So it's 18i squared. All right. I'm going to do the top now, a little more difficult for me. And what do you get there? 4 times root 6. I'll write that down for you. And then you're going to get minus 6i times 2. That's 12i. I'm using it to strip out the multiplication. Then what are you going to get? You're going to get minus 6i root 6. And I'll check myself again. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 root 6. And then I get minus 6i times 2 minus 12i. And I get minus 6i root 6. Yeah, I'm doing okay. And then when you get, last but not least, you get plus, well, maybe I shouldn't say it so quickly. It's going to be plus 9i squared, which is minus 9i, minus 9. And then you're going to get times 2. So I'm going to say minus 18. Well, let's do the bottom. What's the bottom going to be? 30. Because it's 12 plus 18 now. And on top, let's take a look at that. And I think I made a mistake. And it's a problem. I made a mistake. So by the way, I'm not saying I made a mistake in the bottom, but I'm going to erase. I'm going to go backwards. And I got to see if I copied right. So 2, oh, I see it now. So I copied wrong, and that's important. This is a 3 over here. So let me point out, I copied this wrong. And that's a problem. It makes the whole problem look crazy at the end. And then, yeah, I did okay there. Let me do my multiplication now. It's going to be more the same old, and I'll get better over time, I think, anyway. So it's going to be 2 times 2 is 4 times 3 is 12. And then I'm going to get, let's see, minus 6i root 6. And then I'm going to get minus 6i root 6. We'll do that later. And then I'm going to get, let's see, that would be minus 3 times minus 3 is 9. I times I is I squared, so minus 9. And then minus 9 times 2 is minus 18. All right, I'm going to do it now. The bottom is 30. Again, 12 minus 18 is going to be 12 plus 18, which is 30. And I get 12 minus 18. That's going to be minus 6. And then I get minus 6i. Minus 6i is minus 12i root 6. And remember, we're going to, try to simplify this thing if we can. And we're going to try to get in that form a plus bi. All right, let's write this down. So it's going to be minus 6 over 30. And let's see what you get over there. You get minus 12 root 6 over 30i. And let's reduce. That's minus 1/5. And this is going to be minus. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to say it divides by 6, right? So 2 root 6 over 5i. So the a is minus 1/5, and the b is minus 2 root 6 over 5. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that right over here and there and there. All right? So that's pretty much it. All right, now certainly I say it's it. You got to practice. Whoops, I did it again. You have to practice these exercises here, and you work through them one at a time. And again, you might be confused. I always give me problems I haven't seen before. I put work down for you. All right, you may want to take a look at that work and make sense out of it. We're hoping you do. All right, but you want to get the answers that we're providing to you. All right, and there's some problems over here, so you get through them. And again, I'm not really reading these things to you. You want to work on yourself. It takes time. It took me time too. Right? I worked these problems myself. I worked every problem in the book. And it took a lot of time, by the way, I'll tell you that. 31 problems, right? Then what do? You get to the SAGE business. What's that? You've heard this a million times. It's Computer Algebra System, or CAS for short. It's open source software. That's the website. You can either download or use the web-based application. And we suggest you try this code, all right? If you're finding errors in my work, which you probably will, on occasion, I think so. I spent a lot of time working on this. But again, no matter how much time I spend working on something, errors happen, all right? They happen. So if you see an error, please reach out to me. Whoops. My email address is Bannon, B as in boy, the @ symbol, NNON.US. And that's about it. Thank you for paying attention.